The Cuban ambassador to the Bahamas says that America's hostility towards Cuba has reached unprecedented levels. He was speaking specifically about an embargo placed against his country 4 decades ago. Our Royanne Forbes-Darville has the story.
It's not the first, second, or third time that Cuba will be drafting a resolution to the United Nations General Assembly to end a 47-year-long embargo placed on that country by the United States. In fact, Cuban Ambassador to the Bahamas, Felix Wilson, is appealing to regional and international nations to vote come November 8th to end the decade-long blockade.
We have, as we have done before, delivered a note verbal to the Minister of Foreign Affairs asking the Bahamian government support at this time, again, to join the international community's request to end the embargo. I would like to tell you that it is not a formality on the Cuban side to bring every year this resolution to the UN. When we say it is not a formality, we mean that you could see in the documents that I have delivered to you that every year there is strengthening measures taken by the US against Cuba.
Last year, 182 members of the United Nations voted in favor of a resolution that opposes the embargo levied against Cuba. Mr. Wilson explained that Cuba continues to suffer socially and economically because of the billions of dollars it loses every year due to the embargo.
You could have seen that only in 2006 we have lost over $4 billion. And more than 86 billion in 47 years. So that can give you an idea on how much our people suffer because of this blockade that is imposed on our country. We want the international community to know, and we want the Bahamian people to know, that Cuba will never give up on its determination for sovereignty, independence, and to build the kind of society that we have chosen to build.
But despite the financial, commercial, and economic woes Cuba continues to experience, Mr. Wilson says his country remains resilient.
If Cuba wants to buy medical equipment, for instance, made in the US, it cannot have more than 10% of US components. If it has more than that, Cuba cannot buy because of the embargo. And imagine a patient that has a heart problem, and we need the machinery. We need to go to Germany or to France or to one of those countries when we can get it in the US. And then when we go to that far, that means that we will have to spend much more money on that product than if we were going directly to the US. In food is the same. We have friends in the world. We have friends in Europe, we have friends in Latin America that have helped us to survive. We have friends in Asia that have helped us to survive. I mean, we have been able to buy goods that we cannot get in the US in those countries.
Over 11 million people live in the communist nation. Royanne Forbes-Darville for the Cable 12 Island FM.